Oh, it just came in under the wire. Yeah, so we are live. I'm hanging out here with my buddy Stacy Brown, and uh, we are going to be chatting about what we have coming up soon. We can't really tell too much about our first destination, other than yeah, where it's at. We have some like little things that we still have to work out to make all this stuff come together. But I'm just excited about all this stuff, man. What do you think, Stacy?
Yeah, definitely thrilled about this, man.
Yeah, so basically, what our plan is Stacy's going to fly up here to Maine, I think, and actually Boston. You're coming into Boston, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know if you're coming in on like the 9th or 10th?
The ninth.
The 9th. All right. So Stacy's going to fly into Boston on the 9th. I'm going to go pick him up, and then we're going to go to the coolest place on earth, and that's the Conjuring House. And so yeah, we're going to spend our first night at the Conjuring House. How do you feel about that, man?
Well, I haven't done it. You've done it, man, and I'm thrilled. I don't know when you say spend the night, how much sleep's actually gonna go on. Is that supposed to happen like at another time?
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, man. I feel pretty comfortable when I'm there, but this is really going to be about creating a cool experience for people from the time we pick you up to the time we put you back on the airplane down in probably Point Pleasant is probably maybe where we're going to put you on the plane. But between here and there, man, it's all about creating an experience, and we're going to be putting ourselves in some crazy situations.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We've had a few people helping us out, making sure that we have service in some of these locations. Mr. Thomas K. I really appreciate it. He's out there hitting the boots, making sure we can go to a few spots that a lot of people may have never been to, and just get to see what really goes on at these spots, firsthand. Um, so I think it's gonna be a cool experience for everybody.
Yeah, I think that we're just kind of like putting this together right now, and so I think it's really cool that we're actually planning this stuff on live feeds. That way, people can like chime in, tell us what they think, and then even like throw in some suggestions. But as of right now, what we have kind of laid out is picking you up on Thursday. I'm going to be trying to talk you into going to the Freetown Forest, man. I'm going to be trying to like get you to go do that. So hopefully we pick you up at the Freetown Forest, or I'm sorry, at the airport. Go to the Freetown Forest, check that out for a bit, and then go to Corey's house, and hopefully we can meet some people at the Freetown Forest, and who knows, man, maybe find another goat.
Dude, like we got to go back out there, but I don't know. Like, what are they doing when they sacrifice this goat? Because I hear stuff, but I don't know. I got to see it firsthand, right? Like, I'm not completely sold that the world ain't completely flat. I haven't seen it, so I got to
Well, we're
see it.
not, dude. I'm not going to sacrifice a goat.
I'm not doing it, but I'd like to talk to the people who are.
Yeah.
Why do you do this? What actually happens when you do this? What if they're
Right.
summoning something and maybe we can just watch from a distance and live stream it for everybody?
That would be kind of something the ASPCA may want to get involved in. I'm not really sure, but it
Hey,
sounds sketchy, dude.
we're on their side, I promise. Whatever they need us to do.
Yeah. So I don't
We
know,
could
man. What,
roll up there and perform a citizen's arrest, but
there you
after
go.
they summon whatever they summon. So
And we capture the demons flying out of the dimensions and
right.
all that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then we look like the two, boobs up there trying to citizens arrest some demon.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be that easy to like get under control. But
No.
man, so all right, so we're going to hit up Freetown Forest. There was obviously a dead goat last time he was there. But if anybody has any information on these sacrifices and would be willing to come and talk to us, even if you want to be off camera, we can always just rig you up with some audio and have your story put on. But we really want to get people involved, and we want to get to the end or get to the bottom of a lot of these things, man. Just like Stacy said, like what happens when you sacrifice an animal? We don't know.
Yeah, maybe they got some little prayer or something they're saying. That's the kind of stuff that's went on for hundreds of years, dude. And
Thousands,
yeah,
thousands.
yeah, further than I can, even think about. And there's got to be something to it, right? Or why would they continue to do it? Why would people continue this kind of lifestyle if there's nothing to it?
Yeah, you would think after a few times you would just give it up and be like, yeah, I'm done. Like I'm killing animals for no apparent reason. Like I'm done. Like you
Right,
would think that would happen, but these people keep doing it, man. So either there's something to it, or they are really friggin' determined to have something happen. You know what I mean?
right. Hey, you never know. So that's why I want to observe from a distance up until a point. You know, you
Up
never
until
know
a
what you
point.
could do, it, man. And then if you get caught, maybe you're the sacrifice after that.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds pretty sketchy, man. But it sounds like something I want to experience. I was going to say be part of, dude, but I don't know if I want to be part of all that. Like I like you said, I'll view it from a distance. Like I don't really want to be part of all that, but I
Nah,
am curious to see what happens. Um, but yeah, then we hit up the Conjuring house. Like we said a minute ago, you haven't been there, but I was lucky enough to spend almost a year there. Probably a good 9 months or so, and that place is legit, man. So Stacy, when you go there, you're gonna probably walk through the house and be like, there ain't shit here. You're gonna be like, man, this thing doesn't feel any different than the houses I've been to like 100 times.
right.
But once the sun goes down, dude, it's a whole different place. It's
Is it
completely
really?
different.
Is it that big a deal once the sun goes down? Once it gets dark?
Yeah, yeah, it has a complete different feel to it. So when you're in the house during the day, it kind of just feels like every other house. I mean, it has this kind of like spooky vibe to it, and I think it has to do with the lighting in the house and just kind of, I don't know, just the fact it still looks like it's from 1700s. There's antique stuff everywhere, and
Right.
Corey and Jen have done a fantastic job like putting it back the way it was. And it just has that creepy vibe, but it doesn't have the vibe of like something's going to hurt you, like something's going to jump out and like, I don't know, possess you or something. It just doesn't feel like that.
Right.
So I'm excited for you to check it out and see what you pick up. I know that you're not a psychic or anything, but I know that you also kind of like are open to that, and yeah.
Oh man, I'm all into it. If there's something to really to it, then I want to be there to see it. Like I said, so that place is like a bucket list place, man. You want to check that out. You want to tell people, yeah, hey, I stayed in the Conjuring house.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
spent the night there. I was in whatever part of that house by myself.
Right, right. So, right now, Jay Bloomkey, the guy who I just wanted, like, nobody knows about this, including you, but Jay Bloomkey, the guy who basically, I don't know if he runs the Dark Zone, the people who put on the 24-hour live feed for the Conjuring House, he has I didn't sign a contract. I basically put it off. Like they wanted me to sign a contract. I literally didn't do it. So I am not under contract. But Corey and Jen and I think John maybe. Like I'm not sure, but I know that Corey and Jen are, and the house is. Um, Jay doesn't want anything streamed longer than an hour. So like I don't know at this point. I have to get a hold of Jay and I have to talk to him because Jay told me that he would be more than willing to like put what we're doing on the Dark Zones website and kind of work with us as far
Right.
as what we're doing. And so hopefully Jay and Kathleen will allow us to live stream longer than an hour. But right now, I know that we can only do an hour at a time, but I do believe that we can go outside. So with that said, I do think that the land on that property is just as haunted as the inside of the house. And I think the important thing about that is no one's really investigated the land. Nobody's went outside. It's almost like they're so enthralled with what's inside of the house and the story that's associated with the inside of the house. Nobody goes outside to look around. Dude, that's where everything's at.
Wow. So, well, what's went on outside? Like, I
Oh,
mean, you see the movie and you see like the tree, on the
right.
cover and it says The Conjuring. But what is the importance of that?
There is none. That
Okay.
whole like hanging tree thing.
Yeah.
It's all BS, dude.
So,
People threw out there into the world that Bathsheba was hung from that tree or something. I don't know, but I can tell you that none of that's true. There was no one hung from that tree that's out back. It looks like a damn good hanging tree. Like it
Right.
looks like something you'd see a witch hanging from, because like, it's got big branches hanging out, But as far as we know, man, it was never used to hang anyone from anything back there. So anyway, the land is cool because this property was really what kind of designated the property line or state line, I guess I should say, between Massachusetts and Rhode Island. That's how long this property's been there. And
Right.
there's a carriage road right dead beside of the property, man, that folks used to use back in the 1700s to go from Rhode Island to Massachusetts. So one of the essential first roads to ever be used in that area is on that property. And that thing is associated with people experiencing what they say is like a full body apparition, someone who walks that trail, you know?
Have you ever looked at the possibility of what may be along that trail? Because if you got the Conjuring House as one location, what spots are along the rest of the trail? Maybe it's something that,
Well, that's really interesting as well. So, as far as I know, there is another foundation to the original farmhouse that was built there, and this was built before the actual Conjuring House. So the foundation is still there. We were unable to find it, but it is along that trail. So
right,
we've heard that, from Andrea Perrin and the parents that really put out this story. We heard from them that they think that was kind of the epicenter of all of this haunting that's going on. That is the area that has created this thing that is at the Conjuring House. So
right,
that's just right down the trail, man. And we can go down there and try to find it. But I think what would be most important is go down there with some proper devices and investigate it at night. That's kind of what I want to do. So
right.
you have that. You have the original house that is on that trail. Fast forward after they built that house some time, there was a war. I believe it's called the King Philip's War or King.
Yeah.
Dude, and so basically this war happened, and during that war, this house was used. I've heard different things, man. I even went to the library locally and researched this. I've heard that this house was used as kind of like um, I want to call it a stronghold, but I don't know if that's the real right term for it. All I can tell you for a fact is they used that house to fight off the Native Americans. So the Native Americans would charge the house from the back of the house, and you'll see why. Like there's a nice little hill, and this house is at the very top of the hill, a very strategic place to put it. So natives would run at this house, and people would flip these little fold-out windows open on the top floor and
Right.
just take them out, man. So
Right on.
we know for a fact there was a lot of Native Americans who lost their lives on the backyard, in the backyard. Straight up. I mean, we know that for a fact. And what's really cool, dude, is like Corey and I, well, basically the whole clan there, we're talking about what we could do to hopefully find what we think are 7 dead soldiers buried on the property. So Corey goes out and buys this really sweet like metal detector, man, and so the first day I go out with it, it starts like going off constantly. It's just like the whole ground is metal. It was like no matter where you went, man, the metal detector went off.
Right.
And so we kept looking around and trying to figure it out. We eventually picked up a rock, put it under the metal detector, and dude, it set it off. So like the entire land is one gigantic magnetic field. And I personally think that has a lot to do with the things that people are experiencing there. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever heard of that? Like magnetic fields being associated with a lot of paranormal activity?
Uh, well, when I talked to a guy who supposedly it's like snuck on the Skinwalker Ranch, it was kind of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm wondering, wow, I didn't even realize that, man.
So you talk about this. So I'm going to keep going down this rabbit hole, dude. So
Right.
so me and Corey and some other folks have talked about this. Talked about the possibility of the Conjuring House having a very similar, um, I guess, effect on the environment or affected by the environment as Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah,
People,
maybe some other places that are similar to that because I was that place where I used to hunt Bigfoot all the time. It was something very similar to this. It was an old Indian village. some people saw UFOs there. I myself didn't. I saw the orbs. I saw the Bigfoots, and I saw the wolf. I don't know what the wolf was, but the wolf was very, very large, like a waist size. You know what I mean? So, and when we're in Florida, we don't really got wolves.
Right.
That's not a thing down here. So, you never know what scientists are doing, because like scientists sometimes decide it's a good idea to bring in cougars from Texas and try to breed them with the panther population, breed them back. Well, then they don't end up breeding, and now the cougars just actually attack people. Or that's where the panther's a little bit smaller and kind of won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
there was some wolves here, but the land location was the same, and there's certain like areas in the country that are just like this, and I wonder, if there's ever any way to kind of test those theories against each other.
Well, that's kind of what I want to do on this trip, dude. So, recently, the last couple of days, I've been looking into. Obviously, I'm an audio guy. Like, I've been looking into how we can listen to magnetic fields and get that in an audible kind of thing. So I've been Googling that, and dude, there's like EMF microphones. Like you can hear the EMF in the air and where you're at. And so I think what I want to do is get a hold of one of these EMF microphones and see if we can like zero in on a place, like basically walk around and look for the highest level of EMF in the air and then set up there. And then also, dude, I want to go to these different areas and use that same technique and see if we can find patterns. Just like in Bigfooting, there has to be patterns in the whole paranormal world that will help us determine what the best spot is to do these things, And that EMF thing is something I find fascinating and something I'd like to see if there's a pattern associated with it.
Hey, so not to interrupt you or change the subject, but our friend Shaky wants to know, what's the house part of the Underground Railroad? Now, before you answer that question, imagine this. You're running for your life, for your safety, for your well-being, and the people of the Conjuring House hide you in the basement. How screwed up that would be! Like, just
Yeah.
all turn of events, like you think you're finally safe, and then hell no.
No.
You're in the basement of the Conjuring House. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I think I was better off running down the road.
For real. Shaky, that's a really good question. We actually did some research on that. The local town library seems to say that it was not directly associated, but again, you don't know. I mean, people didn't keep super good records back then. It might have been
kept a record of that, anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
it would have been treated well if somebody would have found that information out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I have a hard time with that. Like I think that a lot of places like that were probably used. I mean, it was in the north, so I can't imagine it not being used as part of the Underground Railroad. But I don't know of any actual stories associated with the Underground Railroad as far as the house goes. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know of any.
It's a hell of a thought, though, dude.
It is. So after we roll out from that place, because again, I want to spend like an hour inside, because there's a really good chance, Stacy, we won't be able to live feed from the inside of the house the entire time, but we can live feed outside. Right. So I know that, and I also know for a fact that when Ghost Adventures was there, they caught a black mist on camera right outside the house. And right. People talk a lot of trash about Ghost Adventures, but I can tell you this for a fact, dude. They did not fake any evidence. All the evidence they put out there was legit. They did find all those things. I mean, that's the truth, man. Like everything that was on Ghost Adventures did happen. And I think that's important to say, because a lot of people don't realize that. So after the Conjuring House, dude, we're heading west. And I want to go to the Ringing Rocks, like I want to hit that place up, and we've talked about that a little bit, but that's another one of these places, man, that have a ton of electric magnetic field association with the location, as well as it has an association with like UFOs, Bigfoot, crypt, like all kinds of different cryptids, and then paranormal ghost stuff as well. But man, this is definitely a location the natives used like thousands of years ago to harvest grains, and it'll be really cool to be able to take people there and show them that, and show them why I feel that way, and a bunch of other stuff about it. But as far as like the records go, people don't say that it was associated with Native Americans. I don't know if that's because they would have to create some kind of protection for it if they said that. Hard to say, but whenever I get you there, man, you're gonna shit. You're gonna just be like, man, this place is cool. Like it is really cool. Yeah, yeah. And then oh yeah, definitely going to hit up American Stonehenge too. I've been there a few times, and I think that will be a really cool place. Yeah, it's a really cool spot, and I think that actually might have some secrets associated with it. So, did I ever tell you that? Like, I think that the American Stonehenge is actually a map of where we are within the solar system.
Not to my knowledge.
All right, so are you familiar with the spaceship Voyager?
No.
All right, dude, you gotta brush up on this stuff, man. So
I don't tend to put a lot of anything into NASA.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you, dude. Elon Musk is where it's at right now.
Yes, he is. He's actually doing real work.
Right.
Following up billions and billions of taxpayer dollars with no results. But don't get me started on that. Let's talk about what you're talking about.
All right. So back in the day, man, we set up this spaceship into space called the Spaceship Voyager. And the Spaceship Voyager was supposed to be a ship that was specifically built to make contact with extraterrestrials. Like on board the ship, it had this golden record, and on the face of the record was a picture of a man and woman, like I don't know, just a bunch of stuff about who we are as humans and basically how to find us. So on there, they had a map of where we are within the solar system. Like it looks like a pinwheel, it's like just a bunch of lines that intersect at one single point. But they based this map on pulsars, and pulsars don't move; they stay stationary forever. And so anyway, I was watching this documentary about that, and noticed that this map looked like the American Stonehenge when you look at the Stonehenge from the sky. And so I grabbed Photoshop, dude, got in there, and I laid this image over top the Google Earth image of the American Stonehenge. Dude, it lines up perfect. Every line lines up perfectly. There are a few lines that aren't there on the Google Earth map, but I think that what we should do is go there and walk those lines to see if they should have been cut out, and maybe there's something there that no one's ever like really discovered. So anyway, make a long story short, man, is I think I have the proof to prove that this was a legitimate map of where we are within the solar system. I think it's pretty cool.
And how would somebody? I always wondered about that. Like, how would they know? How would they know from being on Earth? Because I promise you, listen, if there wasn't all the news and it wasn't the internet and all that, and it was just Stacy Brown wandering around on this plane, I wouldn't have figured that out. Like, how would you know?
Well, I think back then the sky was the best show on Earth, literally. Like that was all they had to look at.
I guess, man. I don't know. It still seems far-fetched to me without like some kind of outside help.
Right?
Something from space telling you all this stuff. Like, what even makes you want to start thinking about that?
All right, so we're going to keep going down this rabbit hole, man, because I know too much about this weird shit. So we're going to end up at Fort Ancient. Probably won't be able to spend a lot of time there, but I want to take you there because it's one of the coolest places I've ever been in my life. Fort Ancient was considered to be the Harvard of the ancient world. Every civilization went there to learn how to make astronomical calendars. They've proven this through science. They've proven it through archaeological digs. It's true. Everybody went there, even the Mayans. So back in the 70s, I'm sure you've heard of Carl Sagan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Carl Sagan goes there to Fort Ancient and starts like really researching and trying to dig into what it was and why it was there and just everything about it. And he comes up with this theory, dude, that he thinks that this civilization was either created by extraterrestrials or influenced by extraterrestrials. And he thinks that when the Mayans fell away, all these other cultures, including the mound builders of Ohio, fell away at the same time. That's true. So he thinks that the Native American mound builders knew that there were extraterrestrials. The calendars that they build were to figure out when these extraterrestrials would come back. And so these astronomical calendars that we find, including Stonehenge, he believes were built in order to tell when these extraterrestrials would come back and take these folks away, or take or something. There was going to be some kind of massive event happen according to these calendars. And you know, even the Mayan calendar, man, it's actually supposed to end here real soon. And I don't know
I
if
thought it
we're
was this weekend. I thought it was over the weekend. We were all supposed to. Earth was supposed to end then, right?
oh man, it's supposed to end like 7 times already. But yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm tired of cashing out my 401k and spending all the money recklessly. I can't do this much longer, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think that you're onto something though when you talk about this whole extraterrestrial influence on these ancient sites. There's been a lot of people that believe that's true, and what'll be really cool is to actually go to these places and try to find out.
Yeah, you know, that's the. Even though I try mainly to find things that are unknown here on this planet, I'd really like to find out what's going on with the universe. You know what I mean? It's got
Yeah,
more of a, I don't know how to explain it. It's got more of like a connection to like my soul, you know, than anything here on this planet.
yeah. Well, man, we've been doing this stuff for a long time, and really, even through Bigfooting and stuff, we're always really looking to find out the truth or find out answers to these questions, you know. And so, I understand where you're coming from, man. It does feel like a certain connection because we want to know, you know. That's why I'm doing it. Is I want to know the truth. I want to know what the hell's out there.
Well, you know, so like, have you seen flatliners?
Oh yeah,
Like, have you ever thought about actually doing that shit?
yes, dude.
I actually had a real conversation with somebody last week about doing it and how I would be perfectly fine with it.
I have too. I have a friend of mine. His name's Casey Onick. He's a doctor, and I've kind of little bit talked to him about it. Man, I would totally be down. I'm cool with it. You
I
know.
mean, like, if you're, especially if you're confident you can bring me back.
Yeah, yeah, that's important.
You know what I mean? Or we could employ people. We could like hire people looking for work. Just
Want to die today?
yeah, we promise we will try to bring you back. Like, I won't try myself, but we'll get people that can. Because at some point I'm gonna get tired of trying.
Right. Just call 911.
Yeah, hey, y'all, what are we doing here?
Yeah, we fucked up, man. We messed up, and this dude's like not coming back. We need some help. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like come on down.
Or pull up some like George Clooney videos from ER and see how he does it. You know? Just copy him on YouTube.
Yeah, that's all we need to do, man. We got this.
No, but imagine that, dude. If you could actually turn somebody off for a little bit, for a few moments, few minutes, and see what happens. See if they have any recollection coming back. You know, I wonder if that's ever actually been tried, like as a study. Or like, hey, you do it when you're having the paranormal activity. When there's something there messing around, do you shut yourself off then? Because then you could possibly see what's going on. You know, and some of these places like the Conjuring House, you know, or America's Stonehenge, didn't they have a sacrificial table there? Yeah, so like maybe trying it at some of these places, something like that. So you go from this reality now to the next one, right?
Right.
And hey, what if when you get down there, all these things are there? You can see all these things. You can communicate with them, you know?
So the only ethical way that we could pull off something like that would be like do drugs, like just bring a bunch of DMT, you know, and just get all like hammered, you know. Just...
You know, I know you got values and stuff, Bill, and I'm always for the argument, so I will do all that stuff, okay? And you don't have to try the drugs. You know, I will make sure that I do them, and I'll do all of them.
All of them. Yeah, you don't want to leave any just in case I might get like, you know, hungry.
Yeah, you know, it's tempting sometimes because you want to know too, you know. But
yeah,
at the same time you got, you know, value things. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll let you do it all. That's right. but yeah, but I think you're right, dude. I think the only way we're going to be able to do this is just break down those walls. You know, those walls of like, I don't know, ethics. You know, because at the end of the day, the only way to find out what's on the other side is go to the other side.
Then that's the thing. Like, if it's a scientific experiment, can you legally do that? Like, could you legally, if somebody come in there and by their own will let you cut them off, you know, so they could experience the other thing, and for God forbid you couldn't bring them back. I don't know why you couldn't. Like, they brought that girl back in Pulp Fiction. I was pretty sure she was gone.
So we'll be good, dude.
Yeah, But no, but seriously, like, couldn't you? I don't know if somebody gave their permission for a scientific study like that, and I wonder if the government's not done this already. You know what I mean? Because I read things and I don't know. Like, if I see an article on Facebook, I really don't put much, worth to it. I think it's probably bullshit. But I seen one about where NASA had like identified a portal or something, and they were trying to communicate with people in another dimension or something like that.
That's legit. That's real. They're really doing that.
How the hell did you get that? How did that just come about?
Uh, I don't know, man. Like I know about the experiment. I know what they're doing, but I don't know what like sparked it. I don't know if maybe they.
Why don't y'all
I
go
don't
back to
know.
the moon? You know that $365 billion we're spending a year?
Right? Do something.
We can't go to the moon. We haven't built a base on the moon. We're not like colonizing it. We should be doing that. That's probably the thing we should do.
Yeah, you should like I don't know trademark that or whatever you call it, like copyright it. You know, because I don't think anybody else has. But
I
dude,
don't
you're right.
nobody else could ever go there. So NASA's lost the technology. And they're
So,
over here, hold on one second.
dude, do you think it's real that we even went to the moon? Do you think we even did that? You don't?
I do not believe it.
I, I don't know. I've really talked to a bunch of people about this, and I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that says that they faked it, man.
They did. They did. I mean, look, we went 4 times, right? And
I think so.
what's
Yeah.
messed up is I met a guy who actually went. Claims he went. I did air duct cleaning. I used to have this air duct cleaning business that I run with Josh. And we did the guy's house one day. He lives right up north of Tallahassee, not far from here. Oh, hey, by the way, did I tell you that yeah, I know I did text you. I texted you when I was given that information. Like the original Patterson Gimlin film,
Oh yeah.
the one roll, it's right down here. It's
We
not
need that.
like seriously, the guy's got it. Just being a prick about it. So he got it some estate sale or some
What?
shit. Yeah, got it some estate sale.
Have you actually seen it, man?
I haven't put my hands on it yet, but I'm going through the motions of doing that. I'm trying to figure that out because that's pretty cool. And then so I hired some guy to come and help me film some stuff, and this new film I was kind of working with, and he straight up like claims to know somebody who has the suit. And he said it's the suit from what the guy tells him. Like, straight up and down, he believes the guy. So that one's third person. So, like, he's got to get a hold of the guy that said he had the suit.
Right.
So,
that's crazy.
Yeah. I started to get sidetracked. But no, I don't believe we went to the moon. Doesn't make sense. Why ain't we been back?
Probably because we don't really have the technology to do it.
How the fuck did we go the first time then?
Then we didn't. I mean, that's it. That's how it is.
Of course, and they're like, why would they lie about that? It's the fucking government. Why wouldn't they lie about it? Like, why would they tell the truth? Why are these people? Because they always do something. Whatever they got going on, you only seeing a quarter of it. If there's something big and in your face and in the news, for real, there's always something over here they're doing in the back.
Yeah.
Greasy, man.
they only tell you what they want you to know. You know what I mean? And I think that they kind of control the masses that way. They only tell you what they have to tell you, or only tell you what they need you to know, for
Right.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, Corey just asked me. He just texted me. I think he's actually watching, which is cool. What's up, Corey? So he asked me if this is a dark zone thing. Not at all, man. Dark zone has nothing to do with what we're doing. Absolutely nothing. This is strictly just Stacy and I. And I'd love for Corey to be part of it too. But yeah, so this is just Stacy and I. The dark zone is only allowing us to post things on their Facebook page. That's it. They have nothing else to do with this in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, I just wanted to let Corey know that, and the other people out there too, because this is something that you and I have been wanting to do for a really long time, and it really has nothing to do with anybody else at all. This is just us, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so much that I want to do as far as traveling the country and looking into cool places, and once we do this, if it's successful, if we're able to like pull this off and at least pay for our trip, if we could pull that off, I'd like to keep doing this, man, and hopefully start at your place and roll out from down there at some point.
Yeah, there's a ton of places. There's one thing I've been wanting to go do and I haven't done it yet, so I'm probably going to do it this summer. Uh, there's like these wolves over in Destin that cross the bay, and like apparently if you see them, they curse your life because there's every time it's supposed to be there on like the third Wednesday of the month. So these wolves know a bunch of shit about a bunch of shit, so they're showing up on time. There's some dude out there that he's like straight up trying to see it again so it'll lift whatever it's put on him. He said he's seen it and looked the alpha right in the face. And it's like a ghost pack of wolves run across the bay right there between like Destin and Fort. I don't know. There's another one. There's another place there. So they're big cities, and it's a big old bridge. And then so apparently they just run across the bay there, and they look this one guy in the face. It's just ruined his life. I've been wanting to do that. I've been wanting to live stream that. The
So,
service is so great there. You know what I mean? You're in the middle of two metropolitan areas.
so what if it ruins our life?
You know, like I've put up with a few things before. Uh, we thought we were digging up a Bigfoot grave one time.
What?
Me and my buddy, yeah, or me and a bunch of my buddies. And then, like, dude, like the next 6 months was shit for everybody, like real bad shit.
Do you
So
think it had to do with you trying to dig up a Bigfoot grave?
I don't know if it was actually a Bigfoot grave. We never made it that far down. We ended up getting a phone call that made us leave of a Bigfoot sighting, like down at the gas station, right? Because there's a gas station in the middle of fucking nowhere. And so the guy was there when we were going to talk to him. But I don't know if it was Indian or whatever. There was a bunch of mounds in an area, and we were going to dig one up. And so, like, me and like 6 people went out there and dug them up, seeing if, you know, just what it was, just one. And we never made it to anything. We didn't make it that far into it. But, like,
Well, most of those,
bad.
dude, most of those mounds don't actually even have anything in them.
Somebody went to jail.
Oh
Like,
wow.
yeah, like somebody died. Like shit happened for everybody, you know, in different ways. So I don't know, you know, hey, maybe there's something to that. But
Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of weird, man. That takes some balls to be try to like dig up one of those mounds, dude. Like,
if you don't believe in this shit, then what does it matter?
yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I mean? And so that means you don't respect it. So now I respect things.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
And I got an attachment one time because I didn't respect shit.
Yeah, that's not good. So, Stacy's got to get going, but we are going to keep doing these little live feed talks about our little trip right up until the time we roll out and actually do it.
Yeah, hey, if anybody out there has some ideas on things you would like us to try, you know, let us know. Please, we'll be starting a Facebook page for this probably tomorrow. I'll probably have it up and running tomorrow. So that way we can all talk about the whole thing, because I really want to show all the people that have been following me through the years. I really want to show you all this stuff. We're going to try to actually figure out if maybe something, all these places, maybe there's a connection to
Yeah.
all these different paranormal places up there.
Yeah, I think it's really important just to spit out that we're doing this right too. We're renting proper gear. We're doing everything that we can do to bring you guys as high quality live stream as possible from the field. We're renting the best stuff that you can get your hands on. So we're definitely dropping a bunch of money to do this, and so hopefully it provides a really good product for you guys. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about sharing this stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna put all of our little expertise into the video and all that, and
Yep,
bring
should
it
be
to
good.
you. We want to have a good live experience where people are like, "Wow, that was fun to watch."
Yeah, that's big, man. That's important. All right, well, I'm going to bail out of here, man. And thanks for everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. And as far as Stacy and I go, we'll be back as soon as we can to keep talking about any more developments we have in this. But yeah, keep looking out for us. We're going to be letting you guys know as soon as we know.
Later on.
See you guys.